Today's the final episode of my 7-day challenge to create a new video every single day. If you haven't checked out the previous 6 episodes, then I'll leave a link in the description to the playlist of all those videos. I have many more episodes to make. Just to maintain that quality, I'll need to focus more time on my company. So if you do like these videos, then show me the support by liking this video, and it will give me the incentive then to continue to make more. Make sure you're subscribed and enable notifications so you'll be notified when those episodes do finally come out. Today's final episode will be about cascading and how you can use this knowledge to speed up your website and reduce complexity in your styling. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet and is essentially a file that dictates what styling is applied to what elements are in a HTML document. The key word in this is cascading, which means falling. And that's exactly what happens in CSS. When you apply styling on a higher up element, then that style will cascade down to all the child elements. So to demonstrate this, if we take, for example, this component here, you'll see that I've got on this piece of text here, I've set the color as white smoke. And all these individual text elements have the color white smoke. So how we can utilize CSS cascading on here is if I go to a higher up parent element and I set the color to white smoke here, then I know that all these child elements, we probably could go higher actually, looking at that. Yeah, so all these child elements will have that color white smoke. So there's no point in having these colors set. So you can reset it just like that, and then that will inherit what we call the color of those parent components. So I'm not sure why that one is going to a kind of weird color. I have to just look at that, but then coming down to here, yeah, there we go, just remove that, just remove all these, they're fine, and we can just remove all these colors here by resetting them. You can see that if we're mindful about of parent elements, then we don't have to set those colors on those elements. So again, I'm not too sure why that's like that, but it'll be fine. We can find out where that's inheriting that blue text from. Maybe it's on one of these classes or something like that. Well, what can we learn from this? Well, first of all, we can use this knowledge to write less styling under the hood in Webflow, and in turn create smaller file sizes which will speed up your website. We can do this in 3 ways. We can create reusable styles, we can batch styles together on one element, and we can use this knowledge to reduce the amount of code we're writing and the different breakpoints and the different screen widths that you can do in Webflow. We've already discussed one example of reusable styles in my previous videos with regards to the SR only class. In this example, we set the style of a heading element so it can still be understood by SEO spiders and screen reader users, but is visually hidden from the user. A great example where we haven't used this before is on form fields. So yeah, the other one is, as we've demoed on this website before, if we go to this area there, we've got a heading here with a class of SR only. So we have everything set, and then that just hides that piece of text for us. Now we don't have a form on this, but I've just added one just down the bottom here. Again, make the color smoky white. You can see that cascades down. So we've got a form element and label here. Now the correct way to kind of do this is we've got our label. Now we can, if the design says that we shouldn't show this label, then I can just add that SR only class, and you can see it's hidden the label, but we still have that valuable functionality. So now we can add them to all of these. And and then add placeholders to them. So we've got a bit of name, email. Here we go. In the Webflow documentation, they advise that you can simply delete a form label in order to remove it and then place a placeholder on the form input element. This is terrible advice and it should not be followed at all. The reason for this, again, is accessibility. A screen reader user won't know what to put into the form element because there's no label associated with that. Another way we can use reusable styles is on tags and, for example, a heading element. And if we want that heading to appear exactly the same across the whole site, we can style that heading tag, and then every time we use that tag across the site, all of them will look completely the same. This is great for consistency, so designers really appreciate it. So in this section, like I want all my H2s, for instance, to look all the same. So when I select this and select my H2, what we can do here is we've actually got a class associated with this. But another way to do it is you can already see it there, HTML tag. We can actually target that tag and then make the necessary adjustments just to that tag specifically. So for example, 52, 400, let's see about that. So we'll add that to the style, 52. There's probably more that we need to add right now, but that's just for argument's sake. That was fine for us. I think there's probably a width on it too. Just double check that width. 550. So 550 max width on there. So now every time we create this a H3, we don't have to write any kind of style in the code. We don't have to do anything. So if I was to create if I just add another H3 in here, heading H3, automatically we're just getting that styling. All of this reusability is, like I say, writing less code underneath the hood of Webflow. So the CSS file will essentially be a lot smaller, a lot quicker to download from the browser, and will speed up your website. Another way we can reduce styling file size is by batching our style onto one element instead of multiple different elements. Because we know that styles will cascade downwards, then we can just batch all our styles onto one element that's quite high up and let that style just fall down on the child elements rather than coloring and sizing all the individual elements. Create all your base styles like at the top and then just make those refinements lower down. It also means all our styles will be in one place, so you can just jump to that and know that you can make all the amendments that you need to make in that one area, and it will just reduce that complexity. Here we've made the text white. We could make the font size 18 if we need to, and we can just make if we make all of our style changes that we can do on this element, then we know this is the one-stop shop for all of the sort of the styling that needs to happen within there. Starting at the top and setting all the kind of base styles and then just making the minor adjustments sort of further down. The final way we can utilize our understanding of cascading is by understanding the way that Webflow creates style for the different devices. Webflow uses what we call desktop first design, which means that the styles you create will default onto the desktop, and then if you want to create styles for tablet and mobile, it kind of adds those styles on top of that. I can see why Webflow did this, because most people are more concerned with the desktop view of their site. They won't create the mobile version first and make that look good and then just progressively add on the desktop version. It's not a natural way of thinking. The other option is mobile first, which is what I just spoke about. This can be far more performant because if you can imagine a device will tend to be much slower than a computer, or it can be on cellular data plans. With the desktop first design, it's got to the mobile phone has got to understand the desktop styling, then the tablet styling, and then finally the mobile styling, and it's only really going to process that mobile styling. Whereas if we create styling that's mobile first, it's just got to process and understand a smaller amount of code and then display that straight away. It can just ignore then the subsequent mobile and then, the desktop styling. We don't actually get any control over this, unfortunately, in Webflow, but it's just an interesting bit of information to know about. So with this knowledge, we should be mindful to create as many styles as we can in the desktop version of the website, and allow those changes to propagate through tablet and mobile, and really just aim to make really minor changes in the tablet and the mobile versions of your website. This does mean that you might do a little bit of cleaning up. For example, if you forget that you're in the tablet view and you make a small change and then you find that, that change isn't in the desktop view, then you make that change in the desktop. You should then remove it from the tablet, because you're just repeating that style across different breakpoints then, so you can just reset those with the Option key. So like, as I say, if we then make the color, we want to change the color of this. There we go. We want to change the color of that. And then we go to desktop, and then we suddenly see that we've made that change, and then we want to make that change again. Then we've got a duplication. We've got a duplication of styles here. So what you can do then, there we go, you can see this blue. What you can do is hold Alt and click on that, and then it will reset to orange, so that now we can change this as the styling that should exist throughout the whole all of the levels, and then you'll see that it cascades downwards. Yeah. So there we have it. Episode 7, my final episode of the 7-day challenge. If you've enjoyed it, then show me the support by hitting the like button, because it really inspires me to make more episodes. If you want to hear more about the more episodes that I'm going to be making, just make sure you subscribe and hit that bell, because otherwise you just won't get notified when I make an episode next. And also, you can just follow me on social media as well. I'll leave a link to that in the description, and I'll obviously announce it on there as well. So for the last time in this series, if you need me to clarify anything, just leave me a comment in the description, in the comment section below. And if you do have any ideas on episodes, or if you're struggling with the same thing over and over again, or you're just confused about something, do let me know, and I'll make an episode about it. And so until the next time, happy no coding.